行くぞ。はっジェノサイカッター。
What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Sporgo. Today I want to talk about a couple different things. I want to talk about why these two characters are absolutely godly and more free to play than you actually think, and why transcending cards for these characters is actually a lot better than transcending cards for other characters. So let's dive into it. So whenever you transcend cards, guys, if you're transcending a fest card, like say this card right here, that's got the purple border around it, right? A 6-star card. Every time you transcend this card, you got to use another fest card, right? You got to use another card that has that purple border around it, right? And that gets extremely expensive. I transcended a Athena set a while back, and I spent over 50 to 60 of these fest cards to do that. That is nuts, guys. It's extremely, extremely expensive to do that. However, whenever you transcend, just say a regular 5-star card, right? Whenever you're transcending, like say, I'm going to scroll down here and find one. Like say you want to transcend this card right here, right? Well, we can't transcend. We got to find a card that's leveled up. Say you want to transcend this card right here. Okay. Now you have to use 2 gold border cards, and these cards are actually really easy to come by for quite a few reasons. One, you can actually farm for them, which is nice, guys. Whenever you go into the craft event here, you can farm for 5-star cards to use for transcending. You can farm for the Mr. Big cards, you can farm for these Shizu cards, you can farm for the Nest cards, which I've already collected, right? And how do you farm for those things? Well, you veterans, you already know the answer to this. But you farm for those babies in the Demon of Fury. These little events right here, sometimes it's Mecha Ginets, sometimes it's Shizu. But whenever you're beating this guy, you're going to be able to get these little diamonds here, right? And you're going to be able to use those diamonds to buy some cards, which is nice, right? That is sweet. And because of that, it makes transcending 5-star cards very, very easy. And the reason that Leona and Nameless are so godly for this and so good, especially for free-to-plays as far as transcending cards, is because the best card set for these characters is actually the Idol Kula set. So we'll click on Leona here. Now, as you guys can see, I've already transcended 1 card, right? And on that card, we have an extra transcended stat of increased defense fighter critical rate by 2%. Now, some advice that I can give you guys is the first thing whenever you're transcending cards is I think that you should just transcend them all no matter what stat you get right off the get-go. So I kind of did this badly because what I did was I transcended this first card and I just kept transcending it over and over and over because I wasn't getting extra stat that I wanted. You can actually get different stats like all these right here. Increase attack TIE fighter, poison damage, increase starlight, and all kinds of good stuff, right? And it applies to attack and balance and defensive fighter. But for Leona and Nameless, which is pretty convenient, they're both defensive fighters. So I was looking for a defense fighter stat that would actually help them out. Like increased defense fighter type burn, that would be freaking insane. Critical damage, whatever it may be, increased defenses, whatever it may be, just to increase their stats, right? But whenever you first transcend cards, maybe you don't have a lot of cards lying around, right? And you're kind of in the beginning process of this. Then what I would suggest is that you just transcend 1 card. So I'll show you right now. I will transcend this card right here. Let me see. We'll use these cards that I actually farm. Okay. We'll transcend it. There we go. And we have decreased attack fighter shock damage received by 1%. That's complete shite for someone like Leona. Terrible, terrible, terrible stat, right? And we can go ahead and level it up. There we go. And by the way, I do want to level this thing up anyways for Leona and Nameless. And this, by the way, it's just awesome that a completely free-to-play set that's always available in the game is the strongest for Nameless and Leona. Like, 2 of the most OP characters in this damn game, which is crazy. Let me see. Okay, we got a couple right here. And once you transcend a card fully, right? It doesn't matter. We'll just do the increased balance type fighter here. Doesn't really matter. Once you transcend a card fully, then you move on to the next card, not worry about that stat, right? Whatever stat you get, don't really worry about it in the beginning. I would just go ahead and transcend all the cards at once, and then try to worry about getting, a specific stat that you actually want, because you're only going to have so many cards that you can use as fodder. Like right now, you guys can see that I'm running low on these cards. There we go. Use these here. We'll just go ahead and keep this one here. And the cool thing is, at least every time you transcend a card, you will be able to have an option, right? They'll give you two choices to where you can choose between which actual extra stat that you want. Obviously, I'm not getting lucky at all, and I'm not getting one for defensive fighter. And by the way, when I did that first card, it took me about 20 different times transcending. I had to transcend a card 20 times before I got the increased defense fighter critical rate, which sucked. It's just an insane amount of resources, right? I think that we probably don't have any more. I'm going to go ahead and use, well, I mean, I could use these Auto Kula cards. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that. It don't matter. I already have one card transcend. I'm just going to transcend one card set, one Idle Kula set at a time. And look at this. I mean, they just keep giving me these crap stats right here, which sucks. All right. And when it comes to 5-star cards, you can only transcend them up to level 6, whereas with Fest cards, they go up to level 7. So you actually do get a lot more CP at leveling up 6-star cards, but again, they're just so godly expensive that it's not even funny. Whereas with a 5-star card, it's not. I mean, you can actually have legitimate farming for these cards, which is nice, guys. I mean, that is sick that we're able to do that, right? So, attack time, I mean, whatever. It's just crap, right? So we'll go ahead and finish leveling up. And the reason I tell you to do it this way, if you're going to do this, right, don't worry about the extra stats that you're going to get in the very beginning. Don't worry about this stat right here, okay? If it's not what you want, don't worry about it, okay? Move on to the next card, like what I'm going to show you here in a second, right? We'll finish this card here. Max is level 55 when they're max transcended, because it's still going to add an insane amount of CP. Even if you're not getting the extra stat that you want, it's still adding a lot of CP. So we don't have the stat we want on this second card, but that's all right. We're going to go to the third card, and then we would just start transcending it, right? Now, we don't have any other cards, so what we got to do is we got to go into craft, go to battle card here, and then we need to make up some cards. Now, you can only make so many of these, and that's why you should be farming in those dungeons, right? So that way you can get all of these cards. It's so nice, man. So nice. Okay, we'll jump out of here. Wrong Leona. And now we can start transcending this one right here. Now you got to be careful about the cards that you use for transcending, because you might put one in there that you don't want to use. So just be careful about what cards you're using to transcend. Look at this. Complete crap, attack fighter, just junk. And this also does use a lot of your resources, man. It uses an insane amount, which sucks. By the way, you can also just farm cards, in the dungeons, the power-up dungeons. Your summon tickets as well. Let's see, we got a couple more we can use here. I keep hoping for some defensive fighter. So here's increased defense fighter bleed damage, which is shit for Nameless and Leona, because neither one of them have bleed, which sucks. It really burns what I would love to see, or critical damage, or critical rate, just any, or increase just defense fighter skills, whatever. I mean, anything would be better. If it's just something that applies to a defensive fighter, that's usually when I stop. I don't try to go for, in Leona's case, I wouldn't try to go for burn every single time. Nice, ultimate success. That's cool. I would just try to get a stat that improves defense fighters. We got this one here. Man, I'll never use these cards. I never use those. And this is the process by which you do this, man, you know? And it takes a while to do it, for sure. But even though, like, these cards don't have, like, the stats that I want, even though they don't have the stats that I want, I'm still adding a lot of CP to the cards. It's still going to make my characters a lot stronger because we're still getting extra CP. We're still getting more combat power. We're still getting more attack. We're still getting more, well, we're getting more HP, but we're still getting more attack, which is going to make a big difference. All right, let's see here. We'll just use those there. I know some of you probably thinking, man, I would keep those. I never use them. I don't need them. I mean, we're just getting shited left and right, you know, and this is what I hate about this system, is that there's a lot of RNG in this, and it sucks. And, you know, whenever we transcend fest cards, the amount of RNG that it takes to do this is ridiculous. Like, I hate it. I transcend the Athena set. I don't know if I will ever transcend another fest set again in this game. Maybe I will one day, but I'm in no hurry for it, man. There's just too much RNG regarding it, and I can't stand it. I'm going to go ahead and use these Guilty Gears here. These here just increase your attack and gold gain, and guys, I don't need any gold on this account, but I would like to keep one set just for collector's items. And look, now we got increased defense fighter, poison damage increase, and bleed. It's just shit. It's just complete shit, right? And now would come the fun part, right? We have these cards all transcended. Then I would want to go ahead and try to get the stats that I want by transcending them over and over and over again. Now in Leona and Nameless's case, I already got 2 option cards already leveled up for defensive fighters, so I don't really have to worry about it. But whenever you're transcending cards, the best advice that I can give you is, no matter what stat that you actually gain from your transcended stat, just keep it. Just max out your card and then go on to the next card. Keep whatever stat they give you, max out. Go to the next card. Keep whatever stat they give you, max out, right? Just go with it, because it's still going to give you a lot of extra CP. And then after you've done that, after you've leveled up all 3 of them babies, right? Or all 5 of them, whatever the situation may be for you, then I would start worrying about trying to get the right actual stat that you want, because you might burn up an insane amount of cards trying to get the one stat you want just for one card itself, right? Whereas if you just max out all of your set cards and your option cards, you're going to gain so much CP that it's not even funny. And then you can start worrying about trying to get the stat that you actually want. And right now, my Leona, let me put the other option card, Transcendent card on her. Let's see, here's my defensive card here. And then we do have an option card. And this is actually pretty cool because I did this for Leona, right? I leveled up the strike option card for Leona because strike damage is where it's at, and same with Leona, and the same with Nameless, right? Both these option cards are going to work really good for Nameless. And my CP is now sitting at 92,612, right? And whenever I change the stats on these Idol Kula cards, we're going to gain even more CP. But I just wanted to point out today that whenever you transcend cards, be safe about it. You know, just max them out no matter what extra stat that you actually get as far as a transcendent stat. And then once you finish maxing all of them out, then start worrying about the actual stat that you want to get for them, because it really can take an insane amount of cards before you actually get the stat that you want. As you guys saw, man, we did quite a few rolls just now, and we didn't get the stat that we wanted. It took a long time, and this is also a great way to empty out your inventory, right? Get rid of a lot of those cards that you don't need, which is actually quite useful. And something that I do like about this system, I just wish there wasn't so much RNG with it. That's what I hate the most about it. There's just so much RNG, and that's why you really just want to transcend your card. If you're going to transcend your cards and just max them out, don't worry about the stats that you're actually going to get until after you've maxed out all the cards that you want to max out. Then I would maybe focus on trying to get the actual stat that you want for your cards. But a lot of players, even now, they're probably not going to worry about transcending cards, because here's the truth of the matter. I still can easily get great scores just beyond Omega scores without transcending cards. It's really more of a bragging thing, in all honesty, as far as getting the best scores possible in the game modes. But I mean, you will need to transcend cards in order to get enough CP so you can progress further in chapter and fight and progress further in demo space whenever it comes back. So I just wanted to provide a little insight as far as transcending cards is concerned. So let me know how y'all doing in the game. And I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. GMT+7 time. The link is in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See ya.